Good afternoon. A special welcome to my viewers in the United Kingdom and Canada. I see those numbers are going up. Thank you. I am Bruce Leonard, and this is Bruce Leonard Leans Left. While it's still legal. It's still legal today. I'd like to start the show today giving my genuine sympathies to Savannah Guthrie and her family. What's going on there is it's like something out of a movie. It's like you couldn't believe. And to all the internet sleuths and conspiracy theorists who are out there like flooding the internet with complete bullshit, garbage, fucking, you're not helping. You're not helping the situation. There's already idiots in charge of the FBI. They don't need you muddying up the waters with a bunch of fucking fake shit. Laura was saying today or yesterday that people are accusing the son-in-law and all kinds of other shit. And like, dude, nobody knows anything. These people on the internet talking shit about things like that. You don't know anything. It's all speculation and garbage. All you're doing is muddying up the waters. I said, and the whole thing is, it reminds me, I mean, it's sad to say this, but it reminds me of like Fargo, like where some people came up with some half-baked fucking cooked-up plan, and they don't know, like this woman is 80-something years old. She needs medication to stay alive. She has a pacemaker that they disconnected from her phone. And they didn't take her medication, apparently, they said. So if she doesn't have this medication, she could die. So what good is she to you if she dies? Like, it just doesn't seem like a very thought out, thing. What's up, Julia? I'm glad you made it, Questella. It just doesn't seem like these people thought out, all the details of it. And they made a video last night. It was, and watching it, it was terrible to watch, but at the same time, it was like reality TV and the internet itself, the TikTok and all that. It's desensitized so much that even when you're watching that, it's like this is like something out of some TV show that you would see, Law and Order SVU or something like that, for example. But this is real life. She's a genuinely, like, one of the few genuinely, like, nice people who are in show business, or whatever. Of all the people, you hear things about people. She's like a down-to-earth, regular person who just happens to be a host on the Today Show, but for this to happen to her, that's what I always say. Like, people always say, oh, the evil people, they'll get what's coming to them. Like, do they? It always seems like shitty things happen to good people like her. They say, oh, Savannah Guthrie is one of the few, what's up, Valley Music? Actually genuine, real people who are on television or whatever, and then this terrible tragedy happens to her, Meanwhile, what's his name? Matt Lauer was fucking like bagging chicks in his office. I feel the most bad for her is that idiots who run the FBI. Like Kash Patel's on the case. Oh boy. My mom said right before I was coming down here that Kash is on his way there. Oh great. Because this is just all a reality show to them. He's a fucking podcaster. He has no business running the FBI. What's up, Laura? Glad you can make it. And I'm not here, like I said, this show is about my opinion about what's going on in the world, and I just wanted to extend my sympathies to her and her family because this is a terrible thing that's happening. And the fact that they can't figure it out. Like with all the technology and all the stuff that they have nowadays, they it's been 5 days and they still don't have any idea who these people are, or what, even not even what happened. It's very odd. Anyway, I don't, like I said, I'm not here to cloud up the internet with misinformation about the case. I just wanted to say that I think it's a terrible tragedy, and like I said, she's one of the, from all accounts, one of the most genuinely nice people who are on television. So for this to happen to her is especially terrible. Well, let's go on to what we usually talk about. Are we golden yet? Did you see the reports? Layoffs are up. Hiring is down. The market's closed today. The Dow minus 592.58. S&P minus 84.32. NASDAQ down 363.99, which in the other day I told you they already lost $300 billion in market value just the other day. And today they're down again. Are we golden yet? And Trump's on TV. This is the best economy in the world. That's what I said to you before. Is the truth, the reality of the situation doesn't give two fucks about your political affiliation. Trump can talk all day about how great things are and give you that used car salesman fucking pitch. It's not true. It's not true. Julie says, I guess I missed whatever happened to someone on TV because I haven't watched it in 25 years. Yeah. I only know who she is because before she was on the Today Show, she was a regular reporter on an NBC reporter. So she was on all kinds of different stuff, and then she went to the Today Show, but I never went to the Today Show. So I never watched the Today Show. But yeah, hiring, like I said, is down. They only created 30,000 jobs. And laid off 180,000 people. Roach says the files are made by Pam Bondi in a D.C., New York City pizza shop basement. Yeah, exactly. I don't know if you saw this. Some of these redactions are very poor. But there's a thing that says, shall we organize a lunch for Blank and Jeffrey to get together at SpaceX in the coming weeks? Blank, it's redacted, but the redaction is not on top of the word, so you can see half of the word underneath. I'll show you in a second, but it says Elon, obviously. It's generally available at SpaceX on Monday, Thursday, and Friday each week. We are located at Blank, about 10 minutes east of LAX. And our direct is Blank. Best Mary Beth, who used to be Elon Musk's assistant until he fired her. He says he fired her because she asked for a raise, but who fucking knows? And then a forward message is, hello, Jeffrey would like to meet you at SpaceX as you suggested. When would be a convenient time for you? Could also provide address and phone number for this location. Thank you, Blank, assistant to Jeffrey Epstein. Now, why is the assistant to Jeffrey Epstein redacted? That's a good question, huh? Anyway, I don't know if you can see this. Wait, let me move it. Was it to see where it says Elon? These people are the dumbest people on earth. And what kind of redaction is that? Don't they have, you'd think it's a computer that's doing this, right? But no, apparently it's just some guy with tape. Cash Patel. I don't. Like I said, this Savannah Guthrie thing should show you. You know, remember, there was a time in the FBI, they didn't have no trouble cracking that Charlie Kirk case pretty quick, did they? And Cash Patel was there within hours. It's been 5 days, and now like, well, Cash Patel's on his way. Oh boy, I mean, that makes me feel better. It's like, well, they haven't been able to get any progress on this case, but don't worry. Podcaster Cash is on his way down. He's bringing Nick Shirley with him. They're gonna get to the bottom of this case. I don't know what to do. Like I said, that to me, that's the worst part. But I don't know if you said, there's lots of interesting things going on in the world too, not just in the United States. The world is starting to wake up, I believe, to the dangers that we are facing from these people, and the realizing that they gave the tech people too much power. Like I said, there's no regulation whatsoever on the tech industry. You know, it's basically a Wild West. They can do whatever they want, and that's how we've got to this point. Why these platforms have become filled with garbage and bots and misinformation and brainwashing bullshit propaganda is because there's no rules. They're facing right now the social media companies. I don't know if you see this in the news, but they're facing now the largest lawsuit that they've faced yet. Like a giant class action lawsuit from a bunch of parents who are saying that you voluntarily made social media addictive and you have no guardrails to protect these children, and all these bad things that have happened to kids has happened because of them, which is pretty much true. There's no morality in the social media. All you gotta do is fucking turn it on. You can see that. My Instagram has tried here to make like safe modes for teenagers and things like that, but this is way too late. They've been running these platforms for. When did Instagram first fire up? You know, I don't remember. Let's ask. "2010. So for 16 years, Instagram has been running free and wild all over your kids' brains. There's all kinds of horrible things, suicides. And there's a story. One of the parents of the people in the lawsuit, her daughter died from getting ketamine from some person that she met on Instagram. Who's selling drugs right on Instagram. You know, there's no, like I said, it's a Wild West. There's no, and they have total deniability to say, well, we're not responsible for what people do on the platform. We just provide the platform. You know, and like, that's kind of bullshit. You know, don't you think? It's like the speech thing. Like I said, when they banned me from Facebook for life, right? And I don't really complain about it because, like I said before, they own the space, and when you join the space, you sign an agreement that says that you'll play by their rules. But their rules are arbitrary, and they apply them willy-nilly, mishmash. And there's no human beings involved because they don't even really have that many employees, social media companies. I mean, compared to the millions of people who are on their platform, it's just like the advertising they were saying. You know, they don't have to do any kind of. You can just contact Facebook, say, I have a thing, I have an ad, I want to run this ad, pay them the money, and they'll run your fucking ad. They don't have to check it out, or, you know, they don't have to tell me, no, I just got gray hair, bro. Oh, you're back. I thought you were gone for good after the last time you were here. Anyway, but in Spain, the president of Spain says We must speak clearly about the management of platforms such as X and the vision of figures like Elon Musk. Freedom of expression is not the right of a magnate to buy the public debate and manipulate it through algorithms that amplify confusion. Spain will move forward with legislation under which technology executives will assume direct criminal liability for serious violations on their platforms. The era of hiding behind servers is over. Personally, I believe that every country should get together. Since the internet is a worldwide thing that everyone is using, they should create a board of people from all these countries, and they should pass the laws that govern the internet. Like a Congress, but only for the world, because everyone in the world is using the internet. Right? X is available in every country. So if he wants to run X with his bot that creates pictures of naked young girls, then he should have to face the rules. Is this the best you can come up with, bro? Again, I don't mind you to come here if you have something to contribute to the conversation. You got something to say, but like these insults you come with, they're not even clever in any way. They're not even funny. It's like, at least be funny. You're just a bad troll. It's not worse than a bad troll. It's like, if you're gonna troll, at least be good at it. Fuck. But I personally think that every country should pass these laws because, like I said, the problem is the tech industry is not regulated in any way. It's the same as I was talking about the other day, the AI. They got trillions of dollars invested in this AI, right? And they have not made it at one penny back in a profit. All they did was create a chatbot that you can get to make pictures for you and answer fucking silly questions and pretend to be your friend, you know. It's not really doing anything. And all the tests that they've run to try to let it do actual things, it's not very smart. The problem is they're trying to accelerate this process because they want to make money off of it. And it's unregulated, so now they're putting stuff out onto the market and into the world that you don't know what it could do. And they're like, oh, let these AIs run your business. I told you that it was the Wall Street Journal, they did an experiment where they let the AI run their vending machine. And it fucking lost money on a vending machine. Because they managed to trick it into doing dumb shit like buying an Xbox and putting that into the vending machine. Because they were asking it to do all kinds of crazy shit to see what it would do. Yes, Elon should be in jail. In multiple countries. You know what he says now? He wants to shoot 1 million satellites into space and to create AI data centers that orbit the Earth. And you're like, sooner or later, this motherfucker's just going to block out the sun. With all the space junkies shooting up there. It's like, you realize that this shit's just up there. It doesn't really go anywhere. And imagine 1 million satellites orbiting the Earth. Then he says he wants to go to Mars and Moon and shit. Like, how you going to get off the planet? You got to fly through a maze of asteroid field of 1 million satellites that are spinning around the Earth. Not to mention, there's no servers that could withstand cosmic rays and shit like that. This guy is just a fucking idiot with a lot of money. And he's on drugs, so he's come up with all these trippy fucking plans. What is it? He went to ChatGPT. I love when people say that. They call me a failed comedian. It's like, dude, I'm not a failed comedian. I was totally successful. I was making a living doing comedy. What do you do? It's like, I had to stop because my mother's health. I had to come over and take care of my mother. I'm not failed in anything. It's funny to be called a failure by people who've never done anything in their fucking miserable lives. Julia says, yeah, aliens will bypass our planet because of traffic congestion. Yeah, exactly. Let's go check out that place. Wait, you gotta fly through the maze of 1 million satellites just spinning around the planet. That's just him. Yeah, you're right, Laura. I just think it's funny because that's a regular like insult that they try to throw. They say, "Oh, you're a failed comedian." It's like, dude, and I have to show them a picture. Like, I just did a sold out show last night. I'm not. They think because you're not on television that you're a failure. No, you can fucking curse. Why do you? Why do you think that? Why would you say that? You heard me doing this show. I don't fucking hold back. No, I'm saying it's a common thing that they like to say. They're like, most of them is like, dude, you work at 7-Eleven. Who you fucking calling a failure? The fact that I make a living not working at 7-Eleven means I'm far more successful than you can possibly imagine. That's like, oh, it was terrible, living on my own and being my own boss, and just traveling to places and talk for an hour and make $500. Yeah, it was terrible. What? What the hell is that? Oh, the ChatGPT was trying to write what a failed comedian would be. It says, the portrait, the king of silence. He's the guy who thinks the room is just cold for 6 years straight. That's actually funny. And true for a lot of people. Have you ever been to open mics? There's all kinds of guys like that. They can never get laughs. They could never get laughs at it. Blame it on the audience. Nobody understands my jokes. They're too complicated and deep. It's like, no, you're just not funny. It's like, his signature move is adjusting the microphone stand. There's really guys like that too. I swear to God. No, John, that was my point. It's not just him. It's a common thing that people like to say. That, if you're arguing with them or talking to them online, they want to insult you. That's one of the first things they go to. They say, "Oh, he's a failed comedian." It's like, dude, I was totally not a failure. It's like, no matter it was. Like, I'm going to go tomorrow and do comedy tomorrow night. I just can't do this like for a living because I can't travel. Yeah, Ken says, well, if his fucking rockets keep blowing up, we won't have a lot to worry about. Exactly. They can't even get the rockets off the fucking planet. He's talking about shooting 1 million satellites into space. That's not to mention that he said we're going to the moon, right? We're supposed to go to the moon like by next year, or something like that. And then he wanted to go to Mars by 2030 or some shit. It's like, dude, none of this shit's gonna happen. It's like shit that you just dreamed up while you was high on ketamine. You just have the money to literally throw shit up to the sky. No, it's a Big Lebowski rug. You don't recognize it? It's the dude, bro. My mom, I didn't steal it from my mom. She wouldn't even let me fucking put it on the floor. I tried. She was like, oh no. Yes, a manned satellite's crashing into the ocean. Exactly. Like, it's just going to wind up and jump somewhere. Either in space, spinning out into the ether. Remember when you shot that car into space? That car is still going down the road. The car is just steadily just going out into space, like forever and ever and ever. One day, some aliens or somebody's gonna find it. Like, what is this? It's a car. This guy thought he was cute, didn't he? It's like, yes. Yes, he thinks very highly of himself. The way he's trying to squirm out of this Epstein shit is hilarious. And that's another thing about these Epsteins. Why is it that these people who sent emails to Jeffrey Epstein are redacted? These people who talk about doing horrible things. This one says, from Jeffrey Epstein to Oliver Colomb and someone else that they redacted for some reason. And says, on my island in the Caribbean with an aquarium full of girls. The guy says, as to a Russian, I guess some might refer to them as white sharks. And Oliver Colomb says, the king of Saudi Arabia has a few white sharks in his Jeddah palace, but I totally prefer yours. And sure, I would enjoy the view. And Jeffrey Epstein says, no, some are like shrimp. You throw away the head and keep the body. And Colomb says, as long as you don't have any hammerhead ones, I like white sharks. It's fucking gross. And then here's a picture of where the FBI came up with like, you know, the mob, they have tentacles that say, you know, it's an organization. So who's in this organization? Well, why are they redacted? What the hell's going on? Why would you want to protect these fucking assholes? It doesn't make any sense unless you're trying to cover something up. Well, to tell you the truth, it's going to get away from them because some of these countries are starting to. Here's a story. It says, reports indicate growing concern among wealthy and powerful individuals worldwide following the launch of extensive investigations into Jeffrey Epstein's network by authorities in France, Poland, the United Kingdom, and Lithuania. Prosecutors in these countries are pursuing the cases independently and are not expected to restrict or suppress evidence in the manner seen in the previous U.S. proceedings, raising fears that long-shielded details could now come fully into public view. The fact that these people ran around just at the beginning, remember, just at the beginning of last year, Pam Bondi was like, we're going to release all these files are coming out, and then she did that thing where she brought them binders out. There's fucking nonsense everywhere, bro. I don't know who that is, Peter Mandelson. Say he's a lefty. I mean, but there's... You also have your Andrew Tates and your, what's that fucking, there's another guy's name. It's that guy, Tommy. He's a fucking nonce, too. Russell Brand. It's like, you can name all these guys. That's my point is, all of this is, doesn't have anything to do with politics. And if you're a left person or a right person and you were hanging out with Jeffrey Epstein and banging young girls that you may or may not have paid for, you should probably get in trouble. Can we agree on that? That's why I say people get lost in the sauce here, but letting their political allegiances and affiliations fucking cloud their judgment. These people are scumbags. Just like Clinton. You want Clinton to go in front of the Congress? Go. Do it. I've said that all along. Now, Donald Trump mentioned in the Epstein files 30,000 times. Bill Clinton, it's like 300 tops. It's way less. Now, does that exonerate him? No. No. But my point being, if they're gonna drag Bill Clinton in front of the Congress, they should also drag Trump in front of the Congress. Answer some questions about this shit. Because I said I want to hear from both of them. Bill Gates, anybody. Like today, this guy, I forget the name of the law firm. He's a big lawyer in a big law firm. He was the president of the law firm. And then all these emails about Jeffrey Epstein come out. And today he resigned his post as president of the law firm. But then they said he will continue in his capacity of working for clients. So really nothing's going on except he lost his title. Yes, they are. I see him. It says Trump is a pedophile, Trump is a rapist. They are posting your comments. I just wasn't reading them because we all know this to be true. Today he was speaking at the National Prayer Breakfast. This is the thing. That's the most confounding thing of all about this, is that how the Christians have embraced this piece of shit human being who's the farthest from a Christian as you could possibly fucking get. But yet, in their lust for power and to control this country as a Christian white nation, they've decided that they need this guy. And he's doing righteous work. Julius doesn't need to dig up all of his properties to see how many bodies are buried. Yes, well, there's this guy named Tim Whitaker who writes. If you don't have Substack, I recommend it. I highly recommend it. It's very interesting. And all the big people have Substacks, and they write essays every day. If you want to hear from people, smart people, I said. They're all the pundits that you see on TV, they all have a Substack page. Terry Moran, all the journalists who've been fired or ran out, the real journalists who they got rid of. But this guy, Tim Whitaker, he used to be a pastor in the white nationalist movement, and he realized how terrible and evil it had become, and he left. And now he writes a Substack where he talks about the movement that is white nationalist Christianity, because he was once a part of it. And he said today an adjudicated rapist who was BFF with a child sex trafficker and mentioned thousands of times in the files he tried to hide, spoke at the National Prayer Breakfast where he repeated lies about the 2020 election. He was promptly celebrated by the conservative Christians as a God-fearing president restoring biblical values back to America. Oh yeah, the biblical values from the grab him by the pussy guy. That's where I always go for my biblical values. The guy was friends with the sex trafficker and bought the Miss Teen USA pageant on purpose so that he could find. He has not sorted out the economy. You must have missed that part, bro. The deficit is way up. Layoffs are up. Hiring is down. The value of the dollar is down. The markets are down. There's nothing up about it. He sorted the economy, yeah, right into the shitter. Where are you getting this information? That's what I mean is people, and that's the other thing is the internet did is it didn't teach people how to absorb information. And therefore, you can. What's up, 4.5, bro? The dollar to the euro is down. Don't make me prove you wrong again. I just went over these numbers. You must have missed that part. The stock market, we'll do it one more time for you. Dow index, change, minus 592 points. This is today's close of markets. S&P 500 index, minus 84.3. NASDAQ index, minus 363.99. Last month, they laid off 180,000 people and only created 30,000 jobs. That's a net loss of 150,000 jobs in 1 month. And prices are up on everything except for gas. I'll give you that. The gas price is down. But the economy's not good, bro. I don't know where you're getting this information from. And yes, John, there was a lot of rape and pedophilia in the Bible. Remember Lot fucked his daughters? We already went over that story once on this show. I'm sorry. His daughters fucked him. Either way. They didn't want him spilling his seed. So they decided it would be better if they just fucked him. That's the actual story in the Bible. Who else could fuck their... There's another guy that fucked his daughter. Abraham, maybe? A lot of that. A lot of that in the Bible. A lot of violence, too. I mean, fuck, the main story, they nail a guy to... They beat a guy all day in the middle of the town square, and then they nail him to a piece of wood. The S&P is not up 13%. This is today's close. I don't know what you're talking about, London. The S&P 500 closed today at 6,798.4. Minus 84.32 points. 1.23%. Not 13%. No, it isn't. This is today. And 2 days ago, when I was on this show, they lost $300 billion in market value because everybody sold off their tech stocks. So, again, you can't argue with people or rationalize or have a discussion with people who don't take reality. Like I said, reality doesn't care about your point of view, bro. These numbers are these numbers, and they're going to be these numbers. They don't care if you're conservative or Democrat. It doesn't matter. These are the numbers. Numbers don't care. Just like the world, the planet. Like the planet, whether or not you believe in climate change. I do read The Economist. These are today's numbers from the stock market in the United States. What? Let me ask you a question. You live in fucking England. Why do you care about Donald Trump? I'm genuinely curious about that. Julie says that Bible story was a way to excuse the patriarchy, absolve them for their evil proclivities. They set it up so they could blame women for men's inability to control their urges. Yeah. It's like that one girl. What was that? What was that girl's name, John? It was Adam and Eve, and there was another one, but they cast her out because she was too wild. Lilith, yes, Lilith. Oh, just fishing. Or are you testing me? I mean, because you're not gonna, like I said, You could try to test me, but I'm not about bullshitting, bro. That's what I'm saying. Is this show is about truth. That's the problem. Is what the world really is. We've gotten away from abject truth. People want what they feel to be true, but what you feel isn't true. I mean, sometimes it is, but sometimes your feelings are way off base of what's really going on. John says Judeo-Christian canon betrays Lilith as a demon now in order to avoid explaining why the whole creation thing is bullshit. Well, thank you, sir. Like I said, if you're going to banter, I don't mind if you come at me with a conservative point of view. But let's agree to play the game in the ring of reality. And again, you didn't answer my question. You live in England. Why do you care about Donald Trump? Why do you care what Donald Trump's doing? I'm genuinely curious. Why you... Yeah. I am curious as to why people, in other countries would, Now, of course, you're probably a right-wing populist, but if you're watching, you would understand it. MAGA's not really a right-wing populist movement. It's a bunch of billionaires who want to rape the fucking earth. They don't give two shits about you or me. They're having balls. They're having mermaid fucking sex parties at Mar-a-Lago and building ballrooms at the White House. And that's like, they don't care about you or me. Taking over countries and stealing their oil. It's like, these guys are pirates, man. And that's the great thing of it. I mean, it's not great, but I'm saying that's the great lie of it. Even Marge Green came out and realized it's all a fucking scam, bro. And still he sends emails out every single day begging for money. You know how I know that? Because I get them. I see them. Every single day. Multiple times a day. Why is this guy begging for money? He's just fucking... He's made $10 billion since he's been the president. He still needs your money. Think about that. That's the system we have in America. Right? We're regular jerk-offs like us. We got to give our money to millionaires and billionaires so that they can run for office. And then shit all over you as soon as they get there. And you paid for it. I don't know, John. There's all kinds of people in it. It's just like Steve Tisch, right? I think his name is Steve Tisch, right? He's co-owner of the New York Giants, right? He had a relationship with Jeffrey Epstein, right? Now the NFL owners could get together. They could vote him out. They could force him to sell his team and leave the NFL. Now he's going to sell his team for it's a New York team, so probably $5 billion or more than that. I don't know what the valuation of the New York Giants is. I'm sure it's pretty high. But they could force him to, like they did to Daniel Snyder from the Washington Commanders. He owned it when it was still the Redskins. But a bunch of shit came out about him, and they voted him out. They forced him to sell the team. They could do the same to this guy who's on the Epstein files. But they haven't done that. The NFL has been strangely quiet about that. Which makes you wonder, That's why I said there's no consequences for people anymore, and that's another problem in this world. We've gotten away from truth and law and order. You let the rich people shit all over the laws. And now the Constitution even. And still the nutlickers are like, yeah, let's go. As long as you deport illegal aliens, I don't care what you do. make me feel better is a depressed white man. Yes, this is better. I guess we'll just call you LK from now on. Is that okay? Because you got way too many letters there, and it doesn't really make a word. So we'll just go that I could pronounce. It might be some crazy Latin or some shit. I don't know. But LK says, on a serious note, why on earth would these guys want to have sex with someone who doesn't want to have sex with them? I just don't get it. Right, exactly. You know why you don't get it? Because you're not a soulless shitbag. You obviously have a conscience and morals. And you probably deep down inside, you're a good person. Well, these people ain't that. They're soulless, hollow meatbags of shit who get off on controlling people, owning people, abusing people. To them, it's classic sociopath shit. To them, you're nothing but a thing to be used for their pleasure or their benefit somehow. And they feel the same way about the people they work for. These big, giant, fucking billionaire corporate, like Elon Musk, he don't give a fuck about anybody that works for him. They're all people he could use to his advantage. He doesn't care about, he doesn't have emotions and feelings and empathy. And, he was the one that got people that said, empathy is a downfall of Western civilization. They literally would like to take you back to, like a time when, like the Roman Empire, where the powerful just rolled around, but Daniele was talking about that dialogue thing where, Athens told the island nation, look, either you join with us or we destroy you, And they tried to be like, no, we just want to be neutral. Like, no, it doesn't work like that. It's like, we're powerful and you're not. And therefore, you will do what we say or we will crush you, And that's what Elon Musk and Peter Thiel and Bezos, that's what they think. That's how they think. Bezos sat in his grass for years and years and years and years. And every single day, he just got up every day. It was like, I'm going to destroy everybody else, Until I'm the only one left. And he did. He pretty much did. So, Walmart was too big for him to destroy. But he destroyed everybody else, didn't he? And now it's just a competition between him and Walmart all the time. Who's going to make the most money? So he doesn't think about the... They actually, I don't know if you know this, but this is true. They might do it in England because they have warehouses. I'm sure there's Amazon. It's worldwide now, right? So, in the warehouses, they wire you up so they can tell how fast you're working. And if you're not working fast enough, they're going to get to talking to. And you get written up, and then you get written up again, then you'll be fired. So they find somebody that can work fast enough that they need. Damn your health and or whatever else, it's the fact that you're a human being and maybe you get tired and slow down a minute, or whatever. It's like, nope, that's not acceptable. You're wired up, And if they could, they'd put shocks and shit in it. I'm sure they'd be like, oh, he's working too slow. like an invisible fence. You know why? Because these people are monsters. You only get that rich because you're a monster. You're willing to step on people and stab people in the back and lie and cheat and do whatever to pile up that money that you're never going to fucking use. Elon Musk trying to become a trillionaire. Right? And how many of those dollars is he going to use to help humanity? He keeps telling himself that he's helping humanity by shooting rockets into space and shit, but that's not, it's a pipe dream. I don't know, man. What's she been doing? I don't know. I need more information. It's not the kind of information that I think I want. But yeah, that's the answer to the question, bro. And it's true. These aren't human beings in the way that you think of human beings. I said, these are soulless husks that only care about power, money, pleasure in themselves. You know, and most of them are. I mean, not. I mean, you got to be, unless you were born with a lot of money like Donald Trump. Some of these guys that came from nothing, like Musk is an idiot. You always say he's an idiot, you know. But he's like a savant, you know. Like he's so smart that he doesn't know how to be a person, you know. Exactly. Julia says, "What a miserable existence to be so wealthy they can only find pleasure in harming others." Yes. He's always crying. He posted something yesterday like, people that save money can't buy happiness, and boy, they sure are right. It's like, I've been saying that for such a long time about Elon Musk, because that's the point, is you can't outrun who you really are. And if you're an asshole shitbag, you're an asshole shitbag. And all that money in the world ain't going to change that. Real change and real happiness comes from within you. I'm sure that he thinks being a ruthless prick is, what got him where he is, and that is true. But you're also sacrificing the human part of yourself. But at this point, he's done so much ketamine and shit, he's fried out, That's a problem with being rich. It happens to rock stars and shit all the time, too, like Elvis, Once you get so rich, you're so money, you're just surrounded by yes men and sycophants and people whose very existence. Thank you. That's actually a compliment, I think. Happy. So I look like Saruman's son. That's what that guy said the other day. I look like Christopher Lee. And that's a very similar thing. Yeah. It doesn't matter how much money you get if you're a shitbag. And real happiness comes from within you. He'd have to wake up tomorrow and decide not to be a soulless shitbag. Maybe use a little bit of his money to fucking help people. And that's the thing about, what's the name? Rockefeller. Right? He was a shitbag, asshole. Right? And then all the way through his life. And then when he got older, he realized, damn, everybody knows I'm a shitbag asshole. And so he started the Rockefeller Center and started giving all this money to projects and make art and shit, so that people would remember that. Instead of all the years that he was a shitbag. And then he fucking murdered, no, he didn't murder, but he allowed, he built, this is a true story. Rockefeller built like a big thing with a big fake lake on top of this hill over this town. And one day, the whole levee broke, and the whole town down underneath his big fucking lodge that he had built got fucking drowned out. Thousands of people died, or at least hundreds of people died. Did he get in trouble for that? No. Did he go to jail for that? No. But he did feel guilty enough, like I said, to start building the Rockefeller Center and all these other places, because he wanted that to be his legacy, and not the fact that he had drowned a whole town full of people. This is a true story. You can look it up. Like I said, Elon Musk going to become a trillionaire, that's fine, but then what are you going to do with the $1 trillion, bro? He ain't going to do a goddamn thing. He just wants the title, being the richest man in the world, which he had for a minute. I don't think he is anymore. He's fucking around too much. See, Elon is what you call a modern day Icarus, where he flew too close to the sun. You know what I mean? Like he had everything going for him. Everybody thought that Elon Musk was like, oh, look at this guy. He's young. He's bright. He's got all this money. He's got all these ideas about getting us to Mars and the moon and all that shit, right? And then he started delving into the Nazi shit. He thought that he was untouchable. That he could get away with doing all that. It wouldn't hurt his brands, Tesla and all that. He was wrong about that, wasn't he? No, he still got a lot of money. Yes, you're exactly right, LK. Rockefeller was warned it was going to burst, but he didn't drain the lake. He didn't do anything. And it burst, and the whole town got washed out. And like I said, he didn't want that to be his legacy, so he became a philanthropist all of a sudden. Now, was he really a philanthropist? Or was he just doing PR work? You know, and that's what it is. He needs to rehabilitate his image. He didn't want to be remembered as a shitbag, you know. That's why I got sucked into that with the local football team. You know, it's like the local football team, they suck. They've sucked for years and years and years. You know why? Because the owner just wanted to make money off of the team. He didn't care if they won or lost. Right? And everyone started hate his guts. And everybody stopped going to the games. And then all of a sudden, he comes out and is like, we're going to win a Super Bowl. They start signing better players. They draft Joe Burrow. It's like, and I'm like, I got sucked into that. It's like, yeah, he doesn't want everybody. He's getting old now, and he's like, he doesn't want to die and be remembered as the guy who just sucked the money out of the town for fucking 50 years and didn't give a shit if the team won or not. You know, and I'm like, yeah, he really wants to win the Super Bowl. So that he can rehabilitate his image before he dies, and the people will remember him for that. All that will go away. If they won the Super Bowl one time before he died, he would be remembered as the owner who won the Super Bowl for Cincinnati. And all those years that he just let the team sit in a trash can and took money out of the trash can will be forgotten. That's what it's about. No, I don't think it's going to happen. But I do believe that was his idea because he started putting more money into the team, you know. It's like, well, he's definitely trying to, you know. I said rehabilitate his image before he goes. He doesn't want to be remembered as the fucking guy who just was a shitty owner. Never lived up to his dad's legacy. It's the dude, man. I don't know why people can't get that part of it. You are right. It does look like the old. That's what one guy said one time. Said that I look like I'm about to cut someone's head off. Which is similar to what you just said. Black White 7213 says, "What do I think is the right path for people in life? How can we create a better future for everyone?" Well, I think the first thing we should do is stop quibbling about dumb shit and start talking about these real problems that all of humanity is facing. As I said, they got us all tied up in knots talking about trans people in sports and should the Bible be in the should the Ten Commandments be hanging on the wall, or should gay people be married or not? Shit that doesn't matter. Meanwhile, the planet is going to shit. We've destroyed the climate. All this AI technology is coming out with there's no regulations or idea of how to keep it from getting out of control. The nuclear proliferation treaty just expired today. No one seems to care about that. You know how big a deal that is? This is like for a long time now, for 30 or 40 years, there's been a nuclear proliferation treaty. Today, that treaty expired. So now, right now, there are no limits on nuclear weapons in this world. And Trump keeps trying to say, oh, the Iranians never get a weapon. Well, now there's no rules. It's like, how are you going to tell them they can't make one? That's real original. with your anonymous fucking moniker. Yes, John. John says, quit being shitty to everyone. That would fix most problems. Yes, exactly. People need to look inside themselves and realize that we're all in the same boat. We're all living on this planet that is slowly dying now. If we don't change our behavior, it's just going to keep accelerating more and more rapidly. And like I said, we need to start talking about this technology and how we can regulate it to prevent it from flying off the rails. It's already off the rails. We need to get it back on the rail and then regulate it so that it can stay on the rails. And I know every time you say stuff like that, but the people that don't like regulations will say, why is the communist? Because that's their go-to to everything. But the truth is, there needs to be rules. Right now, there aren't any rules, and it's dangerous. It's dangerous for everyone. I appreciate you being by or stopping by here, Black and White. And I wish that you would have came earlier. See, I enjoy viewers like him that came with a thoughtful question. You know, as opposed, and I mean, LK got around to having, and I thank you for that. LK eventually came around and was having an actual discussion. See, that's what I mean is once you get past all this bullshit, you realize that we have more in common than we have difference. And let's find those common areas and work on that. Stop worrying about what another guy does with his fucking dick. It ain't none of your goddamn business. As long as there ain't children involved, people should be free to be who they want. No one else is hurt. Adults, free adults in this world should be free to do whatever they want. That's my opinion. And I thank you for asking for it. Anyway, if you're one of these people like Black White 7213 who just stumbled upon this show, I am here every Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, 6 p.m. Eastern United States time. I am live, and the chat is live. You can speak to me. If you're in the UK or Canada, like I said in the beginning of the show, thank you very much. My percentage of viewers there is being slowly clicking up. And so it means somebody over there is watching, like LK, and I appreciate that. If you want to send me a message or tell me to fuck off or tell me you like this show, it's Bruce Leonard Leans Left at Outlook.com. Again, I'm here Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. Like 6 p.m. Eastern United States time. Like the channel, subscribe if you haven't. If you like the show, please tell your friends. I got to get going, so I'll be tomorrow night in Winchester, Indiana, doing stand-up. And like I said, I'll be back Saturday, 6 p.m. Eastern Time, United States. Thank you very much. Good night.